And actor George Takei, insistence by Florida to hold early primary may end up whole election process. Good thing Florida has never done that before.
Okay, now our next guest has more than 40 feature films and hundreds of television guest starring roles to his credit, and you'll probably recognize him as Mr. Sulu. I know I certainly do. Please welcome...
You were on the Enterprise. Keep back. Stop or I'll shoot. I don't want to have to kill a woman.
Welcome actor George Takei. Did I say that right?
No.
Okay. Takei. It's Takei.
Takei. Okay. Rhymes with okay.
Okay. Why do we all think it's the
However,
other?
well, because the EI in my name, the people want to give it the Germanic pronunciation, like Einstein.
Oh, okay.
But do you speak Spanish?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's pronounced the Spanish way. E como en escuela, I como en iglesia. Takei. Takei. But I don't object to the mispronunciation, Takai, either, because there is a legitimate Japanese word pronounced Takai, spelled T-A-K-A-I, which translates into English as expensive. So I think I should do very well with this program. You call me expensive.
You know, so many people...
Oh, you just laughed that off. I'm serious.
Okay.
I brought my agent here with me.
Well,
He'll have a discussion.
Perfect. You know, being a part of that original Star Trek cast, I mean, it just sets you apart from so many actors. Is it a good thing?
Yeah, you know, it was an extraordinary show. I mean, everyone here, you know, talked to me about when they were growing up. They watched it with their father or with their brother, you know. It's a show that made a profound impact on American society, and it's now become a part of pop culture. We had a vision of the human future, but we also had a wonderful chemistry between the characters. And it lasted only 3 seasons when we were on first run. But the audience found us in reruns, and it soared in the ratings. And because of that, they brought us back as a series of feature films. And we gave birth to a lot of spin-offs, you know, Deep Space Nine, The Next Generation, Voyager, and so forth. So Star Trek is still very much around and engaging people. And there's a whole new generation of people that have become Star Trek fans.
It was the first program, in my mind, to really take diversity seriously. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. The Starship Enterprise was a metaphor for Starship Earth. And the vision was that the strength of this starship lay in its diversity. So, you know, it wasn't just having a lot of different people together, but in leadership positions. The bridge of the Enterprise was where the real decisions were made. And we had an African woman as our communications officer. And this at a time when the civil rights movement was at its peak, the struggle for equality for African Americans. We were engaged in the Vietnam War that was tearing this country apart. And, you know, Asians were referred to as gooks and other pejorative words. And there I was, an Asian American, as the helmsman of the starship. Yeah. We were in the middle of the coldest of Cold Wars, and we had a Russian helmsman. I mean, a Russian navigator. Right. Chekhov. Yeah. You know, there was a Scottish accented chief engineer. There was, you know, again, during the civil rights movement, we had a chief medical officer with a southern drawl. So, you know, we said that the ship is stronger when we face a common challenge, to be able to look at it from this person's particular experiential background, this person's cultural background, this person's unique historical background, and working together in concert, we can overcome that challenge and boldly go where no one has gone before.
I noticed you dropped no man has gone before. Did you guys know how bold it was at the time?
Well, we knew that, the script would be delivered every week, and we read it, and we thought, this is a fantastic story. And so we knew we were doing a good show.
Yeah.
But we were on like at Friday nights at 10 o'clock, which is a classic morgue hour. No one is watching TV. People are out, enjoying themselves. And so our ratings were down. And it was only after we were canceled that they put us on at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock during the weekdays, and our ratings soared. So it was the programming people who were confused by a show that was so original and so innovative and so different from anything else that they put us on the worst possible time slot.
So they were burying you guys.
They weren't consciously burying us. It was just that when they're confused, they put us where, nothing is on. And that's what affected us.
Let's talk about, there's a video right now that is trending that you're in. Let's take a look at that.
I'm George Takei. In the year 2011, humanity endured a sudden and by many accounts nearly cataclysmic event that threatened to change forever our very way of life. Facebook had changed its interface. I'm here to tell the people of Earth that there is nothing to fear. While many express grave reservations over the new Facebook timeline, in the future these concerns pale by comparison. At the turn of...
That's pretty funny. We talked about that on this show.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I have so much to ask you and talk about, but I really want to get to your community involvement. It's been a major part of your life. You've had a unique life, especially for when you lived, don't you think?
I have. When I was a child, I was still 4 years old when Pearl Harbor was bombed. And overnight, American citizens of Japanese ancestry were seen as the enemy. We're Americans. San Francisco is my father's hometown, I was born in Los Angeles. My mother was born in Sacramento. And just because we happened to look like the people that bombed Pearl Harbor, we were seen as equal to them.
Right.
And we were summarily rounded up and put into barbed wire internment camps, imprisoned in those camps. There were, tall sentry towers with machine guns pointed at us, armed guards herding us around. It was, a prison camp. And I grew up in that environment. We were in 2 internment camps. And when we were let out at the end of the war, we came back to Los Angeles. No one would give us housing, and no one would give us jobs. My first home back in my hometown was on Skid Row, which was terrifying to us. The smell, the scary, ugly people staggering about, And I started school, and the teacher kept referring to me as the Jap boy, which stung,
Oh,
So that's the environment I grew up in.
That's amazing.
And my father strongly believed. Some people turn very bitter about that experience, understandably. But my father said that both the strength and the weakness of American democracy is in the fact that it's a true people's democracy. And it can be as great as the people can be, but it's also as fallible as the people are. They got swept up in war hysteria. So he encouraged us to be actively engaged in the community. And he encouraged us to be active in student government. I became student body president, And before I could even vote, he took me to Adlai Stevenson for president headquarters and offered me as a volunteer. I didn't volunteer. My father volunteered me. And so we got involved in public service and civic involvement from the time that we were very young. And it's now part of my life.
You're here being honored for your work. It is the, I want to make sure I get this right.
The Horizons Foundation.
Right, the foundation, the Horizon Foundation. It's lesbian, gay,
bisexual, and transgender people.
Transgender people. The Visionary Award, right?
Yes.
Are you a visionary?
Well, as I said, it was my father who encouraged us to be engaged in that. I'm gay, and I lived the typical life of a gay person, a very closeted, hidden, double life, you know. One life, like, you know, Superman, you know, student body president during the day, right, and going to gay bars at night, you know, kind of thing. So I know two kinds of prejudices, you know, entrenched prejudice. As a Japanese American from a concentration internment camp,
right,
and as a gay person. And what the Horizons Foundation has been doing for over 30 years now is an extraordinary work. It's a foundation, and they fund nonprofits, but they fund emerging nonprofits dedicated to serving lesbians, gays, bisexual, and transgender people. And it's like venture capitalism, you know, to invest in many... people, but emerging startup organizations. And some succeed, and the Horizons Foundation's investments, seed monies, has really built a strong foundation for equality and change societal perceptions and attitudes toward the LGBT community.
I've got we have I should say, have a very big fan base here in the Bay Area. I'm sure you know that. And some of our viewers sent in questions through social media, so let's take a look at a couple of those. Harry L. emailed, Star Trek's Sulu was one of the first widely known Asian American male characters in U.S. pop culture, and still today is an enduring symbol of many Asian American men. Sulu was smart, strong, and sexy. Did Mr. Takei
rhymes with okay.
That's right. Takei consciously set out to create that portrayal. Does he realize how enduring it is?
Well, now I know how enduring it is because, you know, I could be walking down the street and people will shout out, "Hey, Sulu," and go like this to me, you know. I mean, it's been 45 years. Isn't that amazing? 45 years.
Now, did you set out to make that character exactly that?
Well, that's very flattering. The intelligence, smart, and sexy. Well, we got a script. And so I went by what the script said. I may have infused a little bit of my own intelligence,
right,
and my own sexiness. I did take my shirt off in one episode and did a little fencing, demonstrated my
I remember that. Absolutely. Okay, hey, thank you so much for being here. Now, you can be part of the Horizons Foundation's gala tomorrow night. Tickets are still available. Visit our website at 7liveonline.com. You have made our lives richer.
And it's going to be at the Fairmont Hotel.
Fairmont Hotel.
On top of Nob Hill.